hustle. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Youngnaires. And if you were youngin'
and you're struggling, it's time to get to hustling.
Okay, period. And we are your hosts. I am Nadia Holt. I'm 21 years old.
I'm Soleil, and I'm 16.
And we are UGC creators and micro-influencers located in Atlanta, Georgia. And you already know the whole purpose of this podcast is to just educate and encourage our up-and-coming Youngnaires on how to become their own boss and to just live a more self-fulfilling life. So, we know. What's a Youngnaire? You have no clue.
Allow me to fill you in. A Youngnaire is a young entrepreneur with a millionaire mindset, keeping it real simple.
Sweet and simple. And you know, on Youngnaires, we're only having the coldest people on the podcast. So who we have today?
Today's Youngnaire is a 22-year-old insurance brokerage CEO, speaker, and all-around boss businessman. The one, the only, Keon Edwards.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Love the drip.
Oh,
okay.
Yes. Oh, it's subtle. He said it's subtle.
Not too much, it's subtle. But let's get right into it. So where are you from and what's your business?
Yes.
And you know, what even got you into that? Like what took your mind on that?
Well, first, you know, you guys are in Hotlanta, so I got to represent. So yes, I am
From
from
Atlanta?
Atlanta. I've been
Period.
pretty much everywhere. I claim East Atlanta the most. So I pretty much started on my journey with insurance not too long ago, and I got introduced to it from a friend. And this guy, he was 23 at the time, and he said, "Listen, I made $1.3 million this year selling insurance." Now everybody know insurance at 20, 21, 22 years old.
Right.
Boring. No, I'm never doing it.
Right.
So when I got that exposure to somebody at my age, you know, automatically I'm like, you know, we're from Atlanta, so we're competitive.
Right.
So we're like, okay, whatever you do, I'm going to do
better.
it. But I could do it better. And I was looking for another career at the time. I had already made 6 figures in business. This is like my 4th business now.
Yeah. Oh, he not new.
Dang.
So I've been an entrepreneur since I was 17 years old. So I pretty much understood how sales work, but I didn't understand how to sell something that is leverageable. I didn't understand how to sell something that is going to last.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel like it's on a corporate level. So sometimes when we are starting off with selling, you probably start off selling candy, you start off selling, you know, just some of the simplest things.
Yeah.
But this is more of a more mature field. And I love it. So it's been absolutely amazing. Found a mentor, and he's helped me. We've partnered with firms. We've done over $50 million in coverage.
Wow.
Just
$50
within a year.
15
so.
million.
In a year?
Crazy.
That's crazy. That's
number. Can you give us an infinite baking definition that's like dumbed down
For
a
like
bit?
dummies.
Yes.
Like
Okay. Well, I know that term has been thrown around a lot. It's actually a term that a lot of people adopted because they understood that insurance is a lot more than just the death part. And a lot of people, I feel like every culture needs to understand that insurance is a lot more than just life insurance. It happens to be inheritance, but on top of that, it can also be a bank. So when you're talking about infinite banking or you're talking about legacy banking, what you're talking about is understanding that there are more places to put your money other than the bank that will pay you for putting your money there.
Right.
So I know a lot of people, they're like, how can I make my money make money?
Yeah.
There's levels to this.
Yeah.
You can take your money and you can put it into a real estate property. You can put it into a Turo. You can put it into all these different avenues that are income producing activities. But where is that source coming from? So what happens with infinite banking is insurance companies, what they allow you to do is store up these insurance policies at a level that you want. So some people, if you're earning $5,000 a month or $500 million a month, you can start at the level that you are. You fund these insurance policies, and then what you could do is you could request a loan out of your money, and guess what? You're still going to be in a situation where you're still gaining interest. So these interest rates could be 3% a year, 10% a year, 20% a year, at the same rate, even though the money isn't there anymore. So the same money that you're funding your business with, that $10,000, that $20,000, if you pull it out, it's still going to be gaining the same amount every single year. So it's pretty incredible.
I did not know this.
Okay.
Why do they only say life insurance
It's only
when you
life
die?
It's only death insurance.
You can do stuff with it when you're alive? Like,
That's
why didn't
crazy.
anybody tell me that?
I
That's
did not
interesting.
Whole extra avenue.
How important is mentorship to you? And are you like pro college? Are you pro YouTube University? Or what would you say to that?
Now, I'm gonna be honest. When I first got started in entrepreneurship at 17, I ended up getting invited to this entrepreneurship meeting, and I ended up seeing some people at the time, and my mind was focused on going to the military. And that's the only type of mentorship style. You know, leadership is like somebody tell you what to do, you better do it or else. And when I got into entrepreneurship, I figured out that mentorship and leadership is a little bit different. It's like it's a person that you want to follow. See, some positions you have to follow. These positions you have to, like, you actually want to follow this person. I ended up meeting a gentleman. He was like, I'm making $160,000 a year. I mean, a month. Not a year, but a month. He's making $160,000. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you scamming? So, you know, we all from Atlanta. So it's like, what are you doing? So I was in a sense to where I had to humble myself. And, you know, at 17, you feel like you know it all. I graduated, you know. So you like, I had to humble myself and figure out that, okay, but I don't know enough. Like, this guy is living a life that I couldn't even, you know, blink to imagine. I thought only rappers and athletes were in a situation where they're making this kind of money. And you're doing this just in sales. So on my journey, I ended up running into a mentor. I was able to actually watch him earn over his first $1 million a year. And I've just stuck with him ever since, and I'm able to attract other mentors. So it's very important that, you know, as you do the work, you don't just think a mentor is just going to come just while you, oh, I got the business name, I'm ready. I had to make 6 figures before that person was like, oh, I'm willing to actually mentor you now. And they give you the real sauce, not just the course information. They tell you all of the different, see, one thing that people got to understand about mentorship, it's a cheat code. So if somebody has what you want, you could literally leverage what they have and what they've done, and you can literally just maneuver. So if they've made the mistakes that you made, just ask them the questions. And guess what? Guess what's gonna happen?
You're not gonna make those mistakes.
You can get there.
You're gonna skip right over the mistakes that they made because they already told you the sauce.
Absolutely. I tell people all the time, mentorship is how you collapse decades into days. There's a lot of people that are.
That's a good one.
They're starting businesses.
That's the soundbite right
and
there.
It's not gonna make money. It's not gonna ever make money because you're in a sense to where you don't know how to humble yourself. You don't know how to listen. Everything that a mentor is telling you, your first thought is gonna be, I'm not gonna do what he said. But your second thought should also be, you know what? I don't even make enough money to listen to me. So let me go ahead and listen to them. So a mentor, I mean, mentorship has helped me so much. My whole entire, you know,
that makes a lot of sense.
Everything changed. Like when I got my mentor, I was like, okay, bet, what are you wearing as your cologne? Okay, 'cause what are you wearing? Where do you go to shop for your suits? Where do you drive? Where do you park? What do you do? How do you treat women? You know, just certain things that I was able to notice by just having a mentor.
So what is something that you have accomplished in your career that you're proud of?
There's so many things that I would say I'm proud of the most, but it's honestly discipline. Over time, I've noticed that in the beginning, like especially when you're young, you'll see a lot of people start off doing what you're doing, start off entrepreneurship, and you start watching them and like, okay, man, I got to do this. But having discipline is so important because you will be in a sense to where you're like, I have to get up and do this. And most people, they can't get past the getting up part. So it's like you feel so accomplished just when you start because most people don't start. So I think that you know, if you're trying to do anything as an entrepreneur, build your discipline the most, and don't look at it as if you're running a lap. Look at it as if you're running a marathon. You got people that are disciplined that are in their 80s. And they've been doing this same business
waking up bright and early.
They're waking up, they're going to run. So developing a discipline, I think, is the most important because at 22, you can get, I stay in Atlanta.
Self-control can be.
You know, you can get pulled so many different, I mean, I have so many fun friends. Like, all of my friends just happen to go to a different party every weekend. Or, you know, just something. Like, I got friends that want to go to Miami, let's go to New York. And having that discipline to say, you know what, right now, this is my lock-in time. I think that has been the most payoff. It's paid off every single time.
A lot of people cannot keep themselves from just going to every party, everything.
So what would you say is like the best part of like being in the insurance industry? Like what's the most rewarding part of being in there?
So I'm gonna be honest. The most rewarding part is the fact that I'm a minority and the fact that I'm young. I have been exposed to so many different agencies, so many different so many different people that are in this industry, and nobody's at my age.
Yeah.
Like when I start speaking, or when I start, teaching, in a sense, I have people that are twice my age, 3 times my age. Like, okay, let me gain this wisdom from you, and I'm like, from me? I think that it's very, very important to, look at yourself like, oh wow, like
dang,
you don't have to rush too much because they're doing it, and people just look at you for just little things like, how do you sell by social media? Like, one of the things in the insurance industry when I first got in, everybody was doing door knocking, or everybody was doing just buying leads or buying promo. I literally utilize social media. I utilize social media. I
Nice
utilize
and free,
partnerships.
just how I like it.
And I build genuine relationships with my clientele, and they're able to say, you know what, go to him, go to him, go to him, go to him. And you don't have a sense to where you just like, oh, this is me, but for a fact that, okay, but this is a business that I'm going to be in for the next 20, 30, 40 years. And people are going to just keep sending me people because I'm doing good business.
Exactly.
Yes, that was kind of leading into my next question, which is,
Go ahead.
how do you build clientele in this industry? And do people believe, do people believe the things that you say due to your age? Like sometimes people judge you or like.
So.
Have you ever heard somebody on the phone like, you sound a little young?
I've came across that a lot. I think that first, if you are getting into any industry, you need to figure out what is more comfortable for you. Me sitting on other people's couches and sitting in their living room trying to convince them about death insurance is just not for me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I want to teach you what could you benefit right now, because everybody's in a how to make some money now type thing. So I think that now that we are in the space of 2023 now, post COVID, everybody wants to figure out how to sell online.
Yeah.
And if you're in a space to where you're in my industry or any other industry and you're not selling online, you need to figure it out. Like some kind of way. Build yourself a brand. And I think that the first thing that you need to understand is that people aren't buying your product. I've started 4 other businesses. So people weren't buying my product. Some kind of way I was able to sell whatever it was. People are buying you.
Yeah.
So when you figure out what is your lane, how can you operate in your gift, people will just come to you. People will gravitate to you. You make yourself more findable. I think that's the main thing in the insurance industry. Everybody's trying to hide behind somebody. That's one of the main things. I know there's a second part to that. I don't think I answered that one.
It's okay.
I think you did.
I think you answered it.
I actually think you did.
Yeah,
I
think you answered it.
You did a 2 for 1. It was fabulous. So describe a time where you made like a huge mistake and it was like completely your fault, and then how did you fix it? Yeah.
So I've made so many mistakes. I learned by making mistakes. So I don't take L's. I take lessons. I take learning.
Exactly.
I think that one of my biggest mistakes when I got into the insurance industry was getting in and not understanding the back end of things, not understanding the licenses. So I was selling, what I did was I did over 30 applications, right? All 30 applications were in 30 different states. So the insurance industry is very, very regulated. I can't just sell a policy to you, in a sense, because I'm in Georgia, I have to have a license in whatever state you're in. So I didn't pretty much understand that at all. I'm like, okay, I got passed my test, I'm licensed. Come on, we got to sell you.
Right.
And one of the biggest mistakes that I did make was putting in so many different applications, getting so many clients hyped up about the application getting approved, and every application was denied.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't denied because of them or their help. It was denied because they said, Ken, you don't have license in the state. And I'm like, how'd I do that? So imagine everybody saying, oh, they're celebrating you for putting in so much work. And it's like, I gotta start all the way over. So I think that was the biggest mistake that I made. Every client was like so pissed off at me. Like, it was like, what's taking so long? I'm like, well, the company, they're looking deeper into everything. And then when you get licensed, sometimes it can take time. So that was one of my biggest mistakes, I have to say.
But that's good that you actually sat there and you went through it, because a lot of people, I'm not gonna lie, I actually tried insurance for a little minute.
Wow.
And the people who were teaching me how to do it were trying to teach me how to go to somebody's house and sit down on the couch, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, no. So, but you didn't stop. I stopped. It wasn't for me, but it's for him, and he's having a great time. So if it's for you, do what's for you.
Exactly. So, are you in a relationship? And if so, how important is it to you to like be in a relationship with somebody who's also an entrepreneur, has that mindset?
Great question. No, I'm not in a relationship.
Okay.
I think it's important to figure out what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody's always like, oh, you know, I want to date an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand.
You gotta
what
understand
you're getting yourself
us for real, bro.
And if you don't understand an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
You would just think that they're just ball out crazy.
Like, actually,
You would just
Psychos.
crazy.
I'm just like, you have to understand an entrepreneur's mind. And I want to look at the camera when I say this.
Yeah.
You have to understand that person's personality, that person's mood swings. You have to understand, you know, what type of position are they in right now in their business.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes where, you know, in relationships, that's why I can't date right now, because I have seasons of separations. When I look at my numbers, I'm like, okay, bet, no, we can't talk this week and next week. No, we're not going nowhere.
Gotta get to business. I can't.
You're so inconsistent. I was like, yeah. So,
Sorry.
Because it's focus time. And I think,
Yeah.
honestly, and I just came to this conclusion, like, when you're younger, and this is definitely for the guys that are rushing into dating, you get a couple money, you get some money, like, okay, bet, we about to go here, we gotta go to Chris. But I think that it's very important that you understand to invest into yourself and your business first. The more you grow yourself and you grow your business, you will never regret it. So all of the money that you guys have spent on these young ladies, you can put that same amount of money back into your business, and you can allow yourself to grow and get more experiences and potentially meet women that understand who you are when you get there.
Right.
So I think that's important, you know, to test
He
the
got the
waters,
key,
of course.
y'all.
Yes.
He's giving y'all the keys.
No, definitely. But I've been down that road too many times. But figure out who you are. Figure out if you have the capacity to be in a relationship, because it takes a lot to take care of a person, to love a person. It's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So you take the energy from your business might just fall. Or you take the energy from your relationship might just fall.
Yeah.
You know, it's very complicated.
I love that perspective.
I do as well.
And what was your family's reaction when you started, like, anything entrepreneurship wise? Were they supportive? Were they more like, no, you should go to college and just call it a day? Or how was that?
It was very weird, because I was the first to go to college, right? And I was first to leave college too.
Okay.
So, you know, like go to college. I have, you know, people that went to online school.
Yeah.
But I actually went to Clark Atlanta, shout out to Clark Atlanta University.
Okay.
Was able to go to Clark, and the experience was absolutely amazing. And when I went to Clark, that's what actually pumped up my entrepreneurial journey, because everybody in Clark is just so creative.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what am I good at?
Yeah.
I can't sing, I can't dance. I can talk to you, I can make you pull out your, you know, your wallet.
A little checkboard mess.
And when I pretty much I started on a wave. You know, it was like an online wave.
Yeah.
And I started entrepreneurship first and trading. And that was like my first time really understanding how money works. And I remember one day I was just so humiliated. I went to, and this is a real story. So I went home I was nervous, very nervous. I went home, it was like Christmas or whatever. And everybody's just following me on Instagram. And at that time, I was, you know, building groups, building teams, traveling, going to college, going to different states. I'm 18 years old. I just left the house. So everybody's looking at my Instagram like,
Yeah.
that's not gonna last. You need to do this. You got a $400,000 Army scholarship. Like, you need to be focused. So I'm like, no. I just met a guy that was making $160,000.
Right. A month.
A month. And when I was going to graduate Clark Atlanta, it was going to pay me $60,000 a year to put my life on the line. I was like, okay, something's not adding up. And the contract began in 2029.
The math, it's just not mathing at all.
It didn't add up. So I think that, you know, I had to get a mindset of like, you know, I understand what you're saying, Mom. And my dad, he was just like, you know, as long as you ain't selling drugs, I don't care what you do. You know, his support was very, very helpful.
Where would you direct people who are trying to learn more about insurance or infinite banking?
So first, I would direct you to understanding that number one, everybody doesn't even know what they're talking about. I've seen so many videos about infinite banking. I've seen so many people talk about it. They have no idea what they're talking about. First, I would say you can go to my Instagram at isKeylock, Keylock, or you can go to different websites. One of the websites that I credit is Boley. It's bank-owned life insurance or corporate-owned life insurance, or there's a guy who created Becoming Your Own Bank book. You can go to those. But if you want more in details, you can go to my link in my bio, book a consultation with my team. We have a full sales team that can pretty much explain, do an interview, and then if you really want to speak with me, you can set up a time so you can speak with me. We can break down literally a full financial analysis.
Amazing.
Awesome. Well, real quick before we segue into our favorite time, I just wanted to touch back on that last question because it just hit my head after you stopped talking about it. So for somebody who doesn't have supportive parents, like it's like shoving college down their throat and it's just like no, but they know that they want to try something else. What like words of encouragement would you say to them to like try to just get out there?
I would say knowledge is power. Knowledge is your freedom. When I was sitting in my dorm room or in my mom's house and I kept getting shoved with, you need to do this, I had to go study. And studying, and the more information you get, that's going to build your confidence. And the more confidence you build, you're not even going to listen to the noise. The noise is